Hello everyone, good morning, Elspeth here, and we are back in Rising World. Now, this is a completely new world, and today we're going to focus on a few terrain tips using the creative tools. Hansen had mentioned during Sunday's live stream that she really would like it if I would do kind of a tutorial type video. And as I was looking through some of the others that people have done, I noticed that it has been a while and a lot of them are in German. So if you're like me and you don't speak German, that's not very helpful. So we're going to do one in English for everyone out there who speaks English and wants some information on how to use some of the creative tools. So I have it set so that my creative tools will actually display up there in the corner. We're going to do a couple of things. First off, we're going to go to F7. That's your removal tool. Now with this, you can remove just about anything that you want to. So we will start by saying that, let's see here, this hill should be cleared of vegetation. So we have it on F7 for removal, 1 for vegetation. We'll go down here and we'll click there. There's your starting point. Now we're going to go up and over. Bear in mind that if you are doing this over a very large area, like I am right now, oh look, a brown cow. Cute. Got a little distracted, sorry. But if you're doing this over a very large area, your computer's going to take a while to do this. It's not going to be instantaneous. So we have our start point over there, our end point right down here, but we're working on a hill. So we don't really have everything the way this is set up. So to fix that, what we're going to do is hit page up so that it selects the vegetation all the way up. And you'll see we now have the peak of that hilltop covered. What you want is to get the roots of whatever it is you're trying to remove. So like with the trees, you want to have their roots, the very base of the tree. Once you've got it all selected, just hit delete on your keyboard and presto. Look at that. It's all gone. Now, we didn't quite get everything over here. So, let's change that. We're going to use our right shift button to change our, well, no, let's not change our starting point. Let's change our end point instead. So, mouse left, and then we're going to go sideways. Just your arrow keys here to go from side to side. Page up again to get all of that, and delete again. And presto. There you have it. It's all gone. Now, we don't really have anything built, so objects, construction, and blocks aren't going to show you anything right now. We'll get into that in just a moment. Let's jump into F5. That's your terrain. Now, I prefer to have a nice, easy to see surface for building. So we're going to go to 3, which is your paint options, and then we're going to use the mouse wheel to scroll through until we have just the grass. Not the grass blades, but just the grass. And then plus and minus on your number pad to resize your little selector here. And now notice down here we have like the icy blue grass right down there that you can sort of see in the corner when I move the mouse. That goes away when we use the paint tool, because for the simple, flat, even grass, it's all the same. You only get those variations when you have the tall grass. So now we have a nice clear area to work with. And keep in mind, when you're using the paint tool, it will paint over everything. So see this nice little pond down here with the stone? It's not stone anymore. I've just painted over the entire thing. So the gravel on the bottom, that's all gone. It's all grass. So you may accidentally get go a little too far with it. You can just select a different type of terrain to paint and repair it. So say if I really did want this to have more of a rocky look to it, I would just scroll again. Let's see, there's our stone, but I like gravel around my ponds. I think it looks nice. There you go. And basically with the circle, I just really have it in the center of the pond, and I'm clicking, moving a little bit from side to side to kind of get the edges there. Now we have a gravel pond again. So that's how you would fix that. Now, let's see here. I want this to be a nice raised hilltop. Let's say we're going to build a beautiful house overlooking the valleys around us. So we're going to go back into terrain. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. I prefer to just even everything out. So we're going to go into 1 for add and subtract. Change that with G so that it's the square. Enter brings up your leveling grid, and you'll see here it's going to level it to wherever that grid is. So the way it is right now, and you also want to select what you're going to want it to look like. We're going to change this to dirt for a construction area. Dirt construction area seems more realistic, right? All right. Now, I left clicked, and that brought it up to that level of my grid, but it didn't change anything else because that was higher. Now, if I were to right click, it would bring everything down to the level of that grid. But we want this to be a little bit higher. So let's get down where we can see what we're doing pretty well here. And again, page up. There we go, right up to the very tip top of that peak. Now we're going to go way up here, and we're going to increase the size by quite a bit. We're going to be burying a few animals as we do this, by the way. Hope no one's upset by that. That's probably good enough, but we'll do a quick little right click to get rid of that peak. We're going to have to smooth off the edges of this, so we're actually going to make it bigger. Let's go out a little bit further. And flying when you're doing this gets you a really good kind of bird's eye view of the area that you're working with, so I highly, highly recommend that. Oh, look, we're getting a nice even area here. We're going to go out a little bit further with this. Have to go over a little bit more. Almost got it. There we go. Look at that. We now have a nice even square area. But if we go down, how on earth are you ever going to get up there? That's not really going to work. So we're going to go into 2, which is our smoothing tool. I usually switch it back to the circle for this and make it bigger. Now, left mouse button, of course being your basic action button as it were, you're going to go around and clicking on the edges. The more you click on them, the more they smooth down. Now, since we've gone up extremely high, you have to click an awful lot to get it to smooth out the way that you would probably want this to be. So, go along here. Just kind of thinking about what would be sort of a realistic slope to climb up, right? Still a little bit steep. But you can just keep clicking until you get it to be as smooth as you want. Now the other thing that we could do, we'll go back to 1, Go back to a square, make this smaller. Now, let's bring that back, but let's bring it down. Let's see, how far down are you? A little bit more. Right click. Okay. And yeah. And you can see by just changing the height a little bit each time, I'm effectively creating really giant stairs as I'm going along the edge of this. Look at that. We've now created a set of steps coming up the side of our hill. If I were to go over here, we could have it come in a little bit more. There you go. So, see, you can do it a couple of different ways. And I could have made it even smaller. And we could make very, very small changes in the terrain. So, it's really that simple, basically. And then if you don't want it to be quite so defined as you're coming up, say you want a bit more of a worn look for your pathway, that's fine. I'm going to hit enter again to get rid of that grid. Make the square a little bit bigger so that it's pretty much roughly the same size. We'll go back into our smooth tool and we'll just kind of click a couple of times as we're going up. Nothing drastic, nothing severe, but just something, let's get rid of that. Just something that makes it look a little bit less shiny and new. Obviously, stairs carved into the side of the hill are going to look like stairs carved into the side of the hill. But this way you can make it seem like it's been there for longer, if that's the feel that you're trying to go for. If you're not trying to make it seem like, oh my gosh, this is completely brand new and was just built. If you want to build, say, a castle or something, or a temple, a shrine that has that very old feel to it, just gently softening your terrain a little bit will help you do that because it will make it seem older. Now, to showcase some of the other aspects of the removal tool, we're going to go in and we're going to real quick make a few things. No, let's do the black. That'll show up nicely. So we'll do that. And I'm just right-clicking on the red recipes up here to get the selection of the crafting benches. Let's see. We'll go to the saw bench real quick. We will make some beams. I want something that's going to really kind of stand out against our dirt here, so it's easy for you guys to see. And we're going to go into the workbench. And we're just going to make a few random items here. Let's see. Saw bench again. There we go. That should do it. All right. So, I'm going to turn off fly mode because it's easier to build that way. Make a really, really quick, almost a little set of rooms here. I do want to have a little bit of variation in the heights because the removal tool isn't just helpful for when you want to get rid of a lot of stuff. It's also helpful for when you need to kind of create some smaller things as well. Kind of place the rest of this here. We're just going to hop out of our little creation there for a moment. We'll go place that there. And let's see, what else do we have here? Ah, here we go. And that was just, if you hold down, you left click to place that and then drag without letting it go of your mouse button, and then right click, it'll place that whole thing. So, little bit of building FYI for you as we go too. All right, now that we have everything placed, let's go back into F7, our lovely removal tool, and you'll see here, in addition to vegetation, we also have objects, constructions, and blocks. Let's start with objects. We're going to fly again real quick here. Now, pick that for a starting point, and that for an ending point. Now you'll see I have the chair, and I have those blocks selected. Hit delete. Only the chair went away. That is because the chair is an object. You crafted it and placed it. That counts as an object. The blocks are something different. Same if, let's see, go over here. Say we go to 3 for constructions. I'm going to start there, and we're going to end over here. So you see we have the grinder and the wood. Go up and hit delete. The grinder stayed. That's an object, not a construction. The wood beams, however, are constructions, so they went away. Now, oops, wrong button, didn't mean to. Let's take a look at what you can do with blocks. We'll turn the fly mode off here. It's a little too easy to be a little too enthusiastic when you're on fly mode. So now I have blocks selected, which is 4. So if I go there for my starting point, actually hop over to the top of that. There we go. There's that. We do 1, 2. Look at that. Now I've only managed to select a couple of blocks. Page down. It's got this cute little 2x2x2 area. Delete. And look at that. It just deleted a doorway for me. So see, you can use it in a variety of different ways and not just deciding that you want the whole thing gone. Or something that I will do with it frequently. Let's start there all the way around to here. Now, if you look at this, we have an entire level selected and deleted. So if I go too high with a particular type of block, if I want to change it, I can just delete that level. I don't have to delete the entire structure. And these are all a little annoying, so I'm just going to pull them down a bit. All right. So let's see. What have I not quite covered just yet? I think we've pretty much covered the removal tool. Now, placement. This is something that I don't really think I've ever actually seen anyone use before. Placement for vegetation will let you place whatever plant you want to. You just use your mouse wheel to scroll through the selections, and you can set down whatever you would like. So let's see here. We have weeds, which I don't care about. There's a pumpkin. Just right click and it puts that right down. Strawberry saplings. So you can use this a couple of different ways. You can actually decorate actual trees, plants that you can put in, or you could use the saplings to plant yourself a garden, whichever you wanted. Oops, and it's getting dark. So I'm just going to bring up the console, set time 10. That changes it to 10 a.m. All right, now if we do 2, going to blocks, starting point, ending point. This is one that I've never really used before. Partly because it's not giving me a scroll wheel option to change the type of block that I'm putting down. So, there we go. So if you push I for inventory, this is how you can change the type of block that you're putting down. So this is how you'd be able to do, theoretically, extensive constructions, except it kept switching it back. End point. There we go. So when you push I to bring up your inventory of blocks, you have to double click on the type that you want. Left click to select the area, right click to lay the blocks down. But that's how you would use that. So you could build a very large construction very quickly using that. Just I for your inventory, double click on what you wanted to build with, and create it. So there we go. I figured out something new today too. That's always fun. Unfortunately, there's really no way to individually place or remove the animals. They're there. So there we have the white goat, which is the new one. Here we have the brown goat, our original. This one's the brown cow, so she's the new one. And I think this one is, yep, that one's the black cow, the original. But yeah, they're there. You don't really get to remove them or anything like that. So when you generate a world, you do have the option to generate a world without animals. So if they're going to be in your way, that might be a lot easier because you can use the console to spawn them in later. But just keep that in mind. You will be constructing with animals around unless you turn them off when you spawn the world. Now the other thing with terrain, and this part really has been, I know people have done tutorials on this before, but this would be the water part. I've done this for, say, building large canals. I actually do this quite frequently for that. So first off, we're going to use our enter button to get rid of a few things. There we go. Right clicking brings it down to whatever level I want it to be on. This is not a perfectly smooth canal by any means, but once I have everything down to where I want it, go into 5 for water, enter again for your level tool, page up, page down to determine where you want the water. Now, once you have page up and page down enabled, you can make that as big as you want because the water will not go over the height you have set. So you can make it bigger than your canal so you don't have to go back and catch little edges later. And there we go. I have the beginnings of a canal. Of course, since there are no physics, everything just kind of hangs here. Oops, you're about to fall into the water and drown. Oh, the sheep figured it out. I think the chicken's dead. Yep, the chicken's dead. The chicken is dead. So there you have it. A pretty quick and simple tutorial, nothing too terribly in-depth, I know. But just a quick little FYI about some of the uses of the terrain tools in creative mode for Rising World. So I hope that you guys learned something from this. If you have more detailed questions, be sure to drop me a comment below. I can definitely spend some more time playing around with this, recording videos. We can definitely do that, not a problem. And then my live stream over on Twitch on Sundays, the world that I'm working on there is purely creative. So you're probably going to get to see me use quite a lot of these things throughout that series. And I will be uploading those to YouTube after I'm done streaming. So generally within a couple of days of the live stream, it will be up on YouTube. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this, if there was anything helpful in it for you. And I hope you have a wonderful day.